It's time to revisit Middle-earth, as in this week's special we look at The Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. This fantasy epic really is as big as movies get. It won 11 Oscars, made over $1 billion, and literally thousands of people worked on it. In fact, to get enough extras, members of the New Zealand Army were brought in since it was shot in that country. They were a bit too enthusiastic in the fight scenes though, and their wooden swords and spears kept breaking.
At the biggest, most busy time, there were about 2,000 people. And that was just crew members. We obviously had a big cast, and the 2,000 doesn't include all the extras and things that we had at various times as well. But within the Weta workshop, because Weta is the company that did the special effects with all the creatures and the armor and things, I think that there was about 150 people at the most busy time.
The whole series was shot in New Zealand, actually, and it looks like the studio bosses weren't the only ones making big bucks off the franchise. The country even has a minister for Lord of the Rings, and it's his job to financially exploit the fantasy flicks as much as possible. So far, the first trilogy alone pumped around $200 million into the Kiwi economy.
We've made the film in New Zealand with a lot of New Zealanders. I mean, the wardrobe design, the costume design, the special effects, the computer effects, the sound. I mean, so much of it has been done by Kiwis, and I think it's unusual that such a large film, that such a sort of high-profile film has been made outside of Hollywood.
Smeagol! Gollum, help me!
Then we'll go through the bones and the empty clothes. Then we'll take the treasures for ourselves.
You might have recognized that scene from Shelob's cave, where Frodo got trapped in the giant spiderwebs. Apparently, actor Elijah Wood has the talent of keeping his eyes open without blinking for a really long time, something that came in handy in the scene where he was poisoned and entrapped.
It's like the world's largest condom, ribbed for her pleasure. If it gets in my eyes again, I'm gonna have to hit you. So you put a little bit of this Shelob gum right in his eyeballs, and he goes from young blue eyes to young green eyes.
When the movie was done, director Peter Jackson gave both Elijah Wood and Andy Serkis a prop ring, but told each of them they had the only one.
My process! My process!
We could go on for hours about this film, but sadly we're out of time for this episode. See you next week.